market segmentation versus target market. Sometimes people get these two confused and just want to know, what's the difference? What do I need to know about this? No problem, stick around for a few minutes and you'll be a pro. So market segmentation versus target market. Well, the first thing we should clarify is really that one is a process and the other one is an outcome, right? So market segmentation is a process of looking at your potential market or markets and try to categorize them a little bit more intricately so that you can begin to get clearer looks at what the whole market has to offer. A target market or a target segment is sort of where you land after that process. So what are the segments that you're gonna then go after with your business? So the process of market segmentation is actually fairly simple, but it's detailed. It takes time. Basically, there's 4 areas inside market segmentation that you're gonna begin to break customers down by. So first you have your demographic. Your demographic, these are physical attributes that are true of your potential customers. So it could be their age, it could be their income, it could be their ethnicity, it could be their gender. Then you have psychographics. These are their opinions, these are things that they value, these are maybe things that they enjoy doing, activities. Then you have behavioral. Behavioral is how they interact with your product or potentially would interact with your product, or how they interact in a space that you're offering them their product. So Facebook, for example, if you run a Facebook ad, they have some behavioral targeting features where if you are selling a specific product, but you also want to target people who have bought something through Facebook in the last 30 days, whether it's a product like yours or not, if they've bought through Facebook in the last 30 days, you also want to target them because that means that they're willing to spend money through Facebook. If they see an ad of something that is of value to them, they haven't hesitated in the past to purchase that. So that'd be a behavioral characteristic. And the last one is geographic, and that's really simple. That's just where they live, what's the population density, kind of the physical attributes of the area. This is particularly helpful if you run some sort of physical business and you want to really target within 30, 60, 90 miles of an exact area. So when you begin the process of market segmentation, you're going to be looking at basically the potential customer areas and creating lists of what individual segments could look like in that space. You're going to be leveraging all 4, maybe 3, but usually all 4 areas of that. So what does this customer look like from a demographic standpoint, psychographic standpoint, behavioral standpoint, and geographic standpoint? You kind of create their own categories of what those might look like. And so, one category might be that there's 24 to 35-year-old females that value hunting and conservation, who like to shop online and live in Southwest Minnesota, right? That's just a very quick example. If you were a hunting brand, maybe that's one segment. You're going to go through and you're going to create multiple versions of that, male, female, different ages, slightly different values, slightly different behaviors. Maybe you're playing around geographically as well, getting more targeted, less targeted. And then once you have your list, you sort of boil it down to where does the greatest opportunity exist, right? So these are essentially real but somewhat fictional customer segments, right? It's kind of your best case scenario. You hope there's enough customers in this area. You know a person like this exists, but you're not sure how many of them. And so you sort of come up with, where is there a real opportunity with some of these segments? Maybe you boil it down to 2 or 3 or 4 segments that you feel like this is really a clear value exchange between what we offer and what we can provide them. And then you can figure out how much opportunity is here. You can use that through tools like Facebook ads. You can kind of figure out, if I were to run an ad targeting these people in this area, you can put in all 4 of those categories as specific as you want. It will give you an idea of what is the potential reach for serving a Facebook ad, which is a pretty good test because a lot of people have Facebook and Facebook knows a lot about all of us. So you can kind of get a good idea of, does that many customers exist in this space. You can also use government, whether it's county or local township free tools to sort of figure out how many of your certain customer base exists in this area, if it's a physical location, or you're looking to get some national data on a given demographic or psychographic. Those tools are available if you just find them on Google. And so as you're building your segments, you're going to get segments that, if you were making a baby store that had a physical location, right? You'd probably have one segment that was for young stay-at-home moms that value this and behave like this and live in this area. You probably have another segment for co-working young families that value this, behave like this, maybe have this income and live in this area. And then you'd have one segment maybe for single parents that maybe have this income, behave like this, and value this. I know that I'm broad brushing even in that category. You might feel like you're almost being judgmental, or you're just being offensive with some of the stereotypes that you're playing into. That's sort of the marketing job at this point. I mean, you're trying to figure out what are the broad brushes of characters that we're going to be speaking to so that we can find the right people and bring them value. After you do all that, you make your market segments, you figure out where the greatest opportunity exists within those potential market segments. That's when you would begin to select your target market or your target segment. So the difference between market segmentation and target market is the process versus the outcome. And I don't really like to use the word target market when talking just about the customer, because that's actually a much broader view. Typically when you use target market, we explain that in the 5C video. Target market is much broader than that. But when we talk about target segment, then we're getting more specific to the customers you are choosing to go after. After you have all that, the work isn't quite done. You take those customer segments and you get to do the real fun part, which is creating customer personas. Much more detailed reports of what these people want and what they need. There's a couple different ways that you can put those together, some of which we will cover in a different video. Hope this was helpful.